And welcome to another BM show.
Yeah, taking a big BM right now with the Christmas BM show. Here comes BM show. Here comes BM show. Here with another episode.
My
should write these songs in advance because doing them on the fly sucks. What?
My BM comes out with tinsel already wrapped around it.
That
would be pretty painful.
That would be painful. It's weird when it comes out with the lights.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's do they come out blinking or are they solid?
Blinking.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Are they the big bulbs or the small bulbs?
The big ones. It hurts.
You would be that guy. All right, so I wanted to mention something because last night I had a very emotional and powerful moment. I beat a game, and it gave me a realization that I was very much due. So last night, I beat the remake of Silent Hill 2. Now, I'd beaten Silent Hill 2 way back in the day, but I beat the remake.
Oh, that 3 minutes went fast.
Wow, everything just fired off over here. So that's my dryer and washing machine going off at the same time. Wait for that. Okay, so what happened was as soon as I beat it, all of a sudden I realized, so there's something I need to do. I exited out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I uninstalled it. I moved it to my not needed folder, and I realized, apart from the first one, I never have to play a Silent Hill game for the rest of my life. Now, it's not that I hate the Silent Hill games. It's I finally discovered what it is that makes me don't want to play them. Why I don't have as much fun as I should have when I'm playing them. And that's because if you take something like Resident Evil, now everyone's played Resident Evil by now, and you get into a section like you're in the lab, and you open up a door that leads you to a hallway. You'll have maybe a couple of zombies in that hallway that you could try to run around, or you could take them down if you want. And you'll have like a door that goes to the testing chamber. And you'll have another door on the other side of the hallway that goes to a computer room. And then at the end of the hallway, you'll have another door that is going to lead you to another hallway. Yeah. And you run down and you go to the first door, the testing chamber. You try to open it. It says, this door is locked. It's got a symbol of a cookie on it. So you realize, okay, I got to find the cookie key. And then you run to the other door and it opens up. Mm-hmm. And it's a small room and there's a zombie maybe in it. You take it down, and then there's a computer where you have to do some sort of puzzle that will now get you like a 3D copy of a figurine you can stick on something to unlock the cookie key. Now, Silent Hill is a little bit different. Silent Hill, you walk into the lab, you look at your map, there's like 19 doors. And you run up to the first door and push it, and it doesn't open. You run up to the second door, push it, it doesn't open. You run up to the third door, push it, it doesn't open, and this one's marked as locked. You need the cookie key. You run up to the fourth door, push it, it doesn't open. Fifth, push it, it opens, and it's like an empty room except for maybe 2 bullets. Then you go sixth, doesn't open. Seventh, doesn't open. Eighth, doesn't open, it's locked from the other side. Ninth, that opens. You go into this room that's empty, you find a hole that gets you back into the 8th room, where you can unlock the door, and then the 8th room, you find a hole that goes to the ceiling because at the 9th room, the hallway for some reason is magically blocked off in the middle, and you have to go through the air ducts to get into room 10 to get in the... That's the problem with Silent Hill. It's way too linear, but way too convoluted at the same time. All these doors that don't open are so unnecessary. But I guess it fits the mood. And I realized that playing it, I'm like, dude, I'm spending half the time running into doors to see if they open. That's not very fun to me.
Yeah. You got me thinking about I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a game I think it was on the Sega Saturn where it was the same thing, where it was like You're just constantly running into locked doors. It's just that was the whole game.
Well, the problem is in Silent Hill, they're not locked doors; they're barred doors to prevent you from going in. You can't get in these rooms.
Why are they there?
Exactly.
It's Chekhov's gun, dude. You don't put anything into this game unless you're going to do something with it.
It's like it's. I get it if you're like you go into a hotel and you need room 301, 302, 303, 304, 305, whatever. It's still just annoying to run into, you have 301 through 320 in a hallway and only 2 doors are going to work.
So you're telling me, I've never really played, and actually I don't think I've ever played Silent Hill, but you're telling me that Silent Hill is worse designed than the Haunted Mansion mission in a Mario game?
Yes, it is.
Because Mario 64, if you play the Haunted mission in that, every room is utilized. There's a reason for every room to be there. It's not, I know like in real life there should be rooms that have nothing to do with, but this is a video game.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, in this every room that's accessible is utilized in a way.
Yeah, but they have all these rooms that are there for no reason. Even if they should all be accessible, even if there's nothing in them.
Yes, and I agree with you there. I disagree and I agree with you because it does fit the mood a little better, and it will be less frustrating to run the door and like it doesn't open. But that also might drag it down too, because now you're going to rooms looking for stuff that there's nothing. So that's kind of a lose-lose situation.
Well, I mean, it also depends on like what you're trying to do in the game. Like if you're doing like Shenmue, for instance. If Shenmue was being done today, they would probably have it where everything, you can go to every single room and there just might be nothing to do in there. Yeah. It's just a room that's just there.
Yeah.
Which, like Grand Theft Auto does that, where there's rooms that are there for no reason whatsoever. They're just because you would normally think, oh, I should be able to go in here, so they let you go in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which there's people that probably make a reason for that room with their imagination.
Yeah. But then but then if you're trying to make it more lifelike, which these games are trying to mimic life, sometimes there's just a room that's there and there's no reason you need to go in there. You're allowed to go in there, but there's no reason you need to go in there.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So. Like your grandparents' bedroom. You don't need to go in there.
I don't. Yeah.
You're allowed to. They don't care. You're your hey grandson, if you want to go in there.
Hey, Grandma, what are you doing? I'm making you another uncle.
What? That's weird.
It happens. It happens. All right. Well, you got anything to talk about really quick with the people? Because I'm going to go take care of that washing machine really quick in like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
All right.
So talk about whatever you want. I should be able to hear you still.
Okay. So there is a new baseball game that came out from Konami. I didn't know that Konami was still even really into making new games lately, but apparently they're back into making games again. And this new baseball game, I'm hearing all this buzz about it because it's supposed to be better than MLB The Show, which is like the current standard. And I basically got so tempted to buy this game, but it costs $70. Even if you get it digitally, if you want to get it delivered, it's up to $85, depending on where you're getting it from. And I talked myself out of it because I'm like, what am I going to do? Play this game for 5 minutes and then never touch it again? When this game next year is going to be like $10. So that's my adventure in that. Lately, I just picked up, even though I have no way of ever playing it and don't plan to ever buy the hardware, I got a copy of Goofy Covers Congress, or Goofy Covers Government. And Goofy Covers Government is a game that came out for the Color Computer 2. It was the thing that I didn't want to review, but I think I want to put more work into it because I actually want to do, I think I want to put a video together because I actually gathered like all the, I gathered some still shots, and I have the audio recording for it. It was a game, it was on an audio cassette, and it had some pretty decent graphics for the time. It was a game from 1983, and it had some graphics that could rival some of the better Nintendo titles at the time.
Is that on the audio cassette add-on for the Atari?
It was an add-on for the Color Computer 2, but it's the same idea.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Radio Shack had an exclusive license with Disney for software of that kind, I think. Like, I know the stuff came out for Apple, and I know stuff came out for IBM, but I think because Color Computer was considered to be like a specific genre of computer, I think. It was competing against the Amiga and the Commodore 64. So I think that Disney had of all the people that write in you have the Commodore 64, the Amiga, and they're like, yeah, we'll sign an exclusive contract for the Coco.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to go back to your baseball game one. I got bad news for you, Ben.
Yeah.
Price isn't going to go down. It's not going to be $10. The prices don't go down on games anymore.
But dude, you do know that sports titles come out every single year.
I know, but I bet they're probably not going to go down like that.
No, they won't go down to 10. I was being facetious with that one.
Might go down. You might be able to get it like on a sale like that.
Yeah, it might go down to 30. You can get it on Steam, but you need to have a Japanese Steam or a Hong Kong Steam account. I'm sorry, and I remember it was Japanese. You got to have an Asian Steam account. Is the point. You have to have a Japanese PlayStation account to get it digitally, or you can buy it the physical one from Japan, and PlayStation 4 and 5 games are region free.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, so as long as you have a physical copy, you can play it on any system.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it's a really good looking baseball game. But the thing is, like, I know I'm only going to play it for 5 minutes, and I'm never going to touch it.
Yeah. Is it like Baseball Stars, or is it just like a regular just baseball?
Dude, if you turned on the Japanese baseball league and started watching a game, except it's a video game. It's got the full presentation, including like the crowd doing chants and all like music that they're not playing like in the U.S. that they do that dun 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 dun. They're not playing that. They're playing what they would play in Japan. Okay. And it's authentic. It sounds real. Of course, Konami is a Japanese company, so they probably know the game well. But yeah.
Can you like create your team and
Oh yeah, you could always do that. You can create a team. One of the things they offer for free is their GM mode, which is very text heavy. So I was literally getting a headache trying to look through my cell phone to translate everything. So I'm like, I'm not going to do this. But that's for free because it's one of those pay to play things where like you get a certain amount for free, but if you want to keep going, pay us, or if you want to move along faster, that's what it is. You pay them and you can move along faster in it. Yeah.
Get ready to grind for hours and hours, you cheap person.
Yeah, get ready to grind for hours, or if you just put a little something right here.
Exactly. All right. So, first, before we talk about anything, whenever you game your lemay, yes, whenever you game your lemay, well, I will teach you the right way to kick bottom when you play. It's time for Mix and Mike Ticks. Yes, it is. And today we are talking about this game. Which, come on, if you don't know what game we're talking about today, just looking at this.
Final Fantasy.
You're playing too much Grand Theft Auto there.
V1 VII.
Final Fantasy V. Yes, V. It's it's a prequel to Wii. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII. So what we're going to talk about today is some end of the game materia grinding. Because everyone wants to have the most powerful, souped up master commands or master magics or master this and that. So you want to get your stuff up as high as you can. Now, the spoilers on this one are actually going to be significantly low, which basically, if you don't know one of the characters is optional in this, then I don't think you've been listening to any sort of electronic media ever. So let's go ahead and hop in, and we're going to talk about where we're going to talk about doing this grinding and what you're going to need.
Now, what version of the game is this?
I'm actually running this on the Steam version.
Okay, and this is what, the one that came out for PlayStation but souped up because it looks better.
This is the one that came out for PlayStation. I think they just upgraded the graphics a bit. This is not the Rebirth version. If you're playing the Rebirth version, good luck to you, because I don't even want to touch that one. So this is for super old school.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to be needing here to do what we're going to do, there's a few things. One, obviously, is you need materia. You need a lot of materia. Obviously, I don't have much materia there, but there it is starting to kick in. You're going to want a lot of materia to do this. Second thing you're going to need is you're going to need Tifa. Now, the good news in that is Tifa is required to be in the party to actually play the game. So you have no choice there. You will get her. The other thing you're going to need is, or maybe I shouldn't say need, well, at this point it becomes a want. You're going to want Vincent. So this is where the spoiler comes in, because Vincent is an optional character. Vincent, you'll get, he's a vampire basically, or he pretends to be a vampire. So you'll find him in a coffin down in, I believe it's Shinra Manor is a place. I'm sure that you're probably using a walkthrough. Anyway, so, and yes, just to let you know, I did pause everything. That's why my time is not moving. It doesn't go up to 100 hours for some reason. However, I haven't put more than 100 hours really into this. I think I'm at 107. So I did all this grinding in that much time. Okay, so those are the characters that you're going to want and need. You'll need at least one of them, which will get Tifa. Next thing you're going to need, well, actually you don't need this. Next thing you're going to want, because you can do this just with nothing I'm telling you, just go to this area and just grind your hearts out. I'm going to make it easier for you. So the next thing you're going to want is you're going to want, with Tifa, you're going to want the God's Hand, and with Vincent, you're going to want the Long Barrel R. Good news about the God's Hand for Tifa is another thing that you can't avoid getting. You'll get it after you fight a specific boss called the Carry Armor, which you have to fight in the game. For Vincent, for his Long Barrel R, this you can buy later in the game from, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it. I want to say Costa Rica, but it's Costa del Sol. Wow. Okay, so yeah, you want to buy it from Costa del Sol after like Meteorite comes out. Okay. The last thing that you're going to want is you're going to want a materia, and let me see if I have it in my list somewhere here, called Slash All. And you can pick up, here it is, you can pick up Slash All in the Ancient Forest, which I believe is just kind of a additional place you can go. It's been a while since I went to the Ancient Forest, so I don't think it's something that's definitely required. I could be wrong. It's probably some Final Fantasy person going, you don't know this game, it's just and that. But I just, right now my brain's not thinking about it. But this is where you're going to get the Slash All. Now, Slash All has two abilities on it. It has Slash All, which is going to attack everybody for a normal strike by that character, and it has another ability called Flash. Slash All is also an interesting materia because you really don't want to level this one up, so you're going to want to put this on something that has no materia growth. That's the standard thing that you're going to hear, and it seems like what you're going to want to do, because what Flash does, Flash will do a death attack to everybody, but it has a low percentage of hitting. So it sounds like Slash All is the best way to go. But you're watching Mix and Mike Dicks, and we don't do it the normal way here. We do it a different way that is still just as, if not more effective. So I'm going to turn the tables and say the first thing you're going to want to do when you get into this area is equip a slash all, preferably on something that's going to give you like a weapon that's going to give you like triple materia growth, because you want to grow it to flash as quick as you can. And then you want to rebirth it into another slash all after you master it. Because once you master materia, you'll get another copy of that materia. And then you want to do the same thing again and get that second one to flash. So you're probably saying, why do I want something that has such a low probability of hitting? Well, go ahead, Ben, ask that question.
What question?
Why do I want something that has such a low probability of hitting?
Why do I want something with such a low probability of hitting?
That's a good question, Ben, and I'm glad you thought of that yourself. Let me show you why. So like I said, your chances of hitting with this are pretty low. But tell me what you notice about the God's Hand.
Wow.
What do you notice?
The attack's pretty high.
Okay, yeah. Which attack are you talking about?
Attack percentage?
The attack percentage, yes. The attack percentage is going to be your hit rate. So this will put you at 255% chance of hitting. Now, let's go to Vincent. And we said the long barrel R. What do you see about the long barrel R? Same thing, 255%. So as you can see, he has the mastered slash all with flash, and Tifa has the mastered slash all with flash. So we're going to put this to the test. So this is the area where you want to grind. It's actually close to a city that becomes water. Let's just say it gets washed away. I'll let you find out what happened in the story. And what we're going to do here is we're going to run around in this area until we get into a fight. Okay, so we're going to put this to the test with Tifa. She's going to flash all of them, and that didn't sound right, did it?
No.
Okay, so this is the great thing about Tifa's flash attack, because she'll give them the weakest ninja kick you have ever seen in your life with a death attack. Hiya! And boom, they're all dead. And that's how easy it is. So all you have to do is just make sure you have that one of those on, and have Vincent or Tifa in your party with those specific weapons with flash. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be super easy to grind. So let's see if we can get a good view of that ninja kick. Hiya! Now, maybe say
she doesn't kick him, and she's just a high kick, and she really is just flashing.
No, if you see her, she does this kick that looks like she's kicking down to the shins of the enemy.
Oh,
here, I'll get in one more
slide. I'm pulling up notes for later. That's all.
Okay. So now, one thing I want to point out: the drawbacks to using Tifa and the drawbacks to using Vincent for this. For Tifa, her weapon is only has 4 slots for materia, so it doesn't have much growth for the God's Hand. So you can't grow much. Vincent has more on his long barrel R, but the problem is with Vincent is that if his limit break comes out, then you can't control that, and it can just become a pain for that specific battle. So it's kind of like you want to decide which one of the two is going to work best for you. And there's her little shin kick.
Okay.
So that's how you grow materia, and you're actually going to grow it really fast this way, especially if you're using something that's like a triple on the materia growth. As you see, I got 320, so you're end up getting over 1,000 using a triple weapon that way per fight, and the fights are over super quick. So that's really all you need to know for, and also might as well put it here. There is a city here. You can, I believe there should be an inn still in there, or you can just get on your airship and fly out to another place to rest, should you need to. So that's all you need to know for this episode of Mix and Mike Ticks. So now go back and play the real version of Final Fantasy VII and get to grinding, get your Knights of the Round, level them up fast, get your Master Summons, go out and fight the last boss with them and use them to make that battle harder because that's what they can do. And level 9 makes the battle harder. But at that point, with the Master Summons, with all this Master Materia, the game's easy anyway. So on that note, I just taught you the right way to play your game. Yes, I taught you the right way to play your game. So if you are still lame, only yourself left to blame. You just watched Mix and Mike Ticks.
And there we go.
And that's it.
I have that was so Final Fantasy VII. What are your thoughts? I know we covered this before, but what are your thoughts on Final Fantasy VII?
Final Fantasy VII is what I call the textbook definition of a mediocre RPG. Everything about it is just standard. But I think Final Fantasy VII, I really didn't understand it the first time I played it in a way, because there's only two real ways to play the game and enjoy it. Either you're going to blast through it as fast as you can and make it basically as big of a challenge for yourself, or you're going to take the hours and hours grinding and getting all this materia and fighting the ultimate bosses, which with that, what I just did, when I fought the Emerald weapon underwater, dude, that was such an easy battle. I just basically Knights the round, mime, like that. And he went down within a couple minutes. I think, though, if you're in the middle where you're not going to blaze through it, but you're not going to put the time in to level up everything and go the full distance, it doesn't really, it's just kind of run of the mill. But it's kind of, it's a lot of people's first introduction into RPGs, so that's kind of what it's based off of. Their viewpoints are based off of. So it kind of gets put up on the pedestal because of that.
My favorite one, and simply because it's the talkie, is 10, I think. Because that one I don't have to sit there and read everything. Yeah. But like 7, yeah, I was like never really super impressed with 7. I enjoyed 8, even though a lot of people don't like it. You say 9's great. I've been playing a little bit of 9. I'm not too far into it. But actually, Final Fantasy, the Pixel Remaster Collection, is currently on sale in the Xbox store. I'm assuming it's also on sale at the other stores as well, because usually the publisher, I think, does the sale, not the console.
And the good news is we've covered 4 of those 6 games in Mix and Mike Ticks.
Yeah.
So you're going to have some really good tips on how to boost yourself early, mid, or end game, depending on which one you're listening to.
Yeah. There's a lot of I mean, it's a lot of sales going on. Is there some kind of major holiday coming up?
Yes, there actually is a major holiday. Our birthdays.
Yes, we're both Capricorns. That's true.
Yes, that's true. Of course, there's already also something. I see where you're going with this, so keep going with it.
Yeah, Christmas. I mean, what if? What do you want to? I don't know which way do you want to go with this one. Or do you want me to pick it?
Well, what about our gifts?
Oh, gifts. Yes. I have. I forgot we were doing this bit. Yes. I'm like holding it right here in my hand. You can hear the wrapping.
I've got my gift too from you. So why don't you go ahead and open up my gift to you?
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, dude, how did you get this?
You don't want to know how many papers I had to throw for it.
Oh, dude, this is the Declaration of Independence, the actual Declaration of Independence. How did you get this?
I know a guy who knows a guy.
Oh,
who knows a guy?
Good. Wow. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't be talking about this because I think it's a federal crime to take this.
Well, possession is 9/10 of the guilt.
That's true.
You got it.
That's right. So you're in the clear then.
I'm washed my hands of that one.
Okay. Oh, look, there's a van outside the house. I wonder what they want. This joke isn't working.
All right, so can I open up your gift?
Yes.
Okay.
We're never doing this bit again. Or did you just take a piece of paper and crickle it? That's all you got to do.
So you got me a 1-year subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
You were right there with me, weren't you?
Yes. Clark.
And I was going to build a swimming pool. Jeez, man.
Thank you for saving this bet because this one crashed.
So with that, now that we opened up our gifts, guess what we're on now?
Movie time, right?
Same, different.
All right, you want to go there first? Okay.
We got to go there first.
I was going to do the other one first, but okay, we can go there first. How to do this?
Why don't you introduce both of them, and since you're the one that brought them up, I get to start it.
Okay.
And then we'll just see how this goes.
Okay. To clarify, these are Hallmark movies because the titles are a little suggestive. Sister Swap, a holiday. Oh, God, let me try this again. Sister Swap, a hometown holiday, and Sister Swap, Christmas in the City are both 2021 Christmas drama holiday movies from Hallmark. They are both they're parallel stories following two sisters as one comes from her small town to visit the other one in the city, while the other one in the city goes to visit their family in the hometown. That's something that they try to explain that in the movie. It doesn't really work for me. Like I said, they're both Hallmark movies. They star Ashley Williams, Kimberly Williams Paisley, never heard of either one of them. Keith D. Robinson, still never heard of him. Mark Declan, and Kevin Nealon. So your biggest star in both these movies is Kevin Nealon. Yeah. Kevin Nealon was one of the cameo people in Heartbreakers. He literally played second fiddle to Sigourney Weaver.
That's the thing, is Kevin Nealon is always the cameo character now.
Yeah, like everything. I don't think there's any movie out there that says starring Kevin Nealon, unless they needed to say that because he's in it for 2 seconds and there's nobody else.
Like every time you watch the opening credits, it's like, this person, and then it ends with and Kevin Nealon for a couple minutes.
Yeah. He's. Now I want to let me look up his filmography and see if he's actually ever starred in anything. Actually, I'll ask ChatGPT. Has Kevin Nealon ever starred in a movie as the lead? Best known for his comedic roles in Saturday Night Live. They're giving me the whole history of this guy. He's typically not cast as the sole lead in a movie. Yeah, he's never had a lead role. That's weird. Honestly, I think they've given hasn't most of the people who've ever become a name from Saturday Night Live at least had some movie that they've been the lead in?
I think that John Lovitz is kind of the same situation. I don't think he's ever been a main character in a movie.
But he had a TV show. I don't even think Kevin Nealon had that.
Yeah, true.
Because he had The Critic, even though
What about Phil Hartman? Phil Hartman, I don't think ever had a main role either.
That's true too. I mean, he had news radio, but he wasn't even the star of that. That was David Foley. That's interesting. So, do you want me to just basically explain the full premise to the people?
Yes, go ahead and explain the full premise of them, and then we're going to dive in and explain and mention which ones we saw.
Okay, so I watched A Hometown Holiday. And this one is, I'm going to read the description as I got from ChatGPT, and then I'll fill in if I have to. Two sisters with contrasting lifestyles reconnect during the holidays when they swap places to help run their respective family businesses. Sparks fly, family bonds are strengthened, and unexpected romance blooms in this quaint town where they grew up. So basically, one sister, she runs a restaurant normally in the large city. They're in Utah, so she usually is in Salt Lake City. And she goes to her hometown, which I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, to go visit mom and dad. And her sister, who's going through her own thing, who runs the family theater in the hometown, she decides to go to the city to go clear her head, I guess. And she goes there and helps to run her sister's restaurant. So let me read the description for this one. This is the one I haven't seen. This was the one that Mike watched. This is Sister Swap Christmas in the City. This description says, in this parallel story to a hometown holiday, the focus shifts to the other sister, who heads to the city to help revitalize a failing restaurant while navigating love, family, and festive challenges. A tale of second chances and holiday spirit unfolds in the bustling city lights. That told me nothing.
Can I jump in now?
Go right ahead.
F this. This is the complete trash that is one of the biggest trashes that ever been on. There is no point to this movie. And here's the thing. I was expecting something, like, because it's Hallmark, and expecting, at least like some sort of moral or trying to at least sell me something. There is zero reason to watch this movie at all. It serves no purpose in anyone's life. Except for, this is probably the main goal of this is to push a progressive message. I noticed something about this movie, and I'm not really one to complain about these things or anything. I just noticed it in this one. There were two relationships in the whole movie, really, unless you're counting, they're sisters, or, it's mom and dad. I'm talking about two romantic relationships in this movie. One was an interracial relationship. Not that I'm against anything like that. I'm in an interracial relationship. My wife is Mexican. But it was made super obvious that they were trying to push that idea, because the other relationship was two dudes. That's all you had in this movie. Everyone else was like, if they're not family, they're not seeing anybody. And that's it.
Now, I got to make this clear to the audience. I did not watch this movie that you saw. So yeah. The black man that you're talking about, I saw him. I kind of assumed they were kind of a couple, but in my movie, they never go into it. They just show him and her together, and he knows the other sister because he worked for her. So they already know each other, and it's like, oh, hey, whatever your name is, oh, hey, and then that's as far as it goes. They don't go and say, oh, yeah, I've been banging your sister. They don't talk about that.
There's a guy that's like a waiter. You may have seen that guy. He was a guy that was in a relationship. Now, get this. He hooked up with a guy that was a kind of like, I guess, a street vendor selling food. I don't remember what the food he was selling. And all of a sudden, they needed a chef for their little shindig that they were going to throw. And all of a sudden, they brought him in. And now you're going to bring in a relationship like that when you're trying to throw off this big festival of eating restaurant event thing for Christmas. And that's not going to cause any drama. Right, Hallmark.
You seem to have seen the more exciting one of the two from the sounds of it.
I'm going to tell you something about this. I looked at the clock watching this, and I swear that
the clock went backwards.
It was 3 times longer than it actually was.
It was an hour.
I'm like, okay, I got to be like an hour and 20 minutes into this. I looked at the clock, and I'm like 42 minutes into it.
Yeah, it's 2 hours for TV, which is 90 minutes. So
it is just drags. And I think I had to pause it like a couple times, like 2 or 3 times, just because I couldn't take sitting there watching it because it just did not go anywhere.
Mine was that too. It was so dry. I was comparing the movie to dry toast. There's not much here.
Yeah.
They're making it as long as they can, this little bit of story that they have.
I mean, if I was to sum it up, my whole resolution would be, I don't know why this exists. I really don't. And you have that crossover, and I could sense where you had crossover because it's the scenes where the sisters are interacting.
Yeah.
And I get an idea that yours is about they were doing something at the theater, but in the long and the short it is, I don't care.
I will say this: they gave me enough of what your story is about, while leaving it where if I was interested, I would still probably, like, if I was into these movies, I would get something out of. I'm gonna have to watch it anyways to pull clips, but there's enough there where I kind of know there's like something to do with the story. Was there was a big event coming up and somebody quit and they're trying to find a new chef.
Exactly.
And then mine was you got something to do with the theater. I don't know. I think we might have had the same last scene. Okay, so here's the reason why we did these movies. I don't think I explained this to the people.
Okay.
I keep calling you guys the people. If you leave something in the comments, if you have a better name for the people.
Let's call them the Irelanders.
The Irelanders. We had one listener from Ireland for the longest time. So the reason I picked these two movies is this is the only two movies in existence where these two movies were filmed at the same time. They have common scenes with each other, where the only thing that's different is maybe the camera angle, but it's the same scene, same take, everything. And I've never heard of this before. This was an idea that I thought that Marvel should have done with the Marvel Universe and have like a couple, like five movies have the same scene. And they do it in flashbacks, but they don't really do it. Like this movie actually did it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting. And as a study, we should watch this. Mm-hmm. And after watching it, there's some stuff you don't need to study.
Exactly. It's one of those just because you can.
Just because. Go back to Jurassic Park, you guys. It's just because that scene from Jurassic Park, like you guys never stop to think. Just because you can, should you?
Yeah, I mean that's really what these movies are, and I mean I got the gist of yours, and it sounds like you got the gist of mine. Like you knew that the cook was gone because they were on the conversation on the phone talking about that at one point. I know that, and that probably bled into your movie too.
Well, yeah, because the girl I'm following, it's her restaurant, so she's all freaking out about it. But like her son is in love with the place because he's a total theater geek. And he's like, "Oh, Mom," and he's loving it. He's loving it. I guess he hated living in the city or whatever. And this one was the family owns a movie. They own a theater. So I think it's a movie theater, but it looks like it's one of those you kind of convert it over. Like they could probably do stage plays if they want. And they were they're out of money. The place is going to go. They can't keep it anymore. And the person who was running it, he passed away. And they decided they want to keep the theater open for one more Christmas showing. And they try it first time and the projector breaks. Mm-hmm. And then somebody gets them a brand new state-of-the-art projector to use for one last showing of for a Christmas thing. It's a miracle. That's the miracle that happened. Somebody donated a projector that saves the Christmas showing. And after the Christmas showing, the girl from your movie and the girl from my movie decided they're going to go and run the restaurant and open up a restaurant at the movie theater and keep the movie theater open. Oh, this whole time there's a bigger chain. They don't it's like a Regal Cinema, but they don't call it Regal. They got another name for it. But they're trying to buy them out. And at first, the guy who wants to buy them out, he's like, "Oh, we're going to try to keep it as authentic as possible." And then he says, "Well, the board decided that when we buy it, we're just going to turn the place into a modern place, and it's going to lose all its charm." That was the main catalyst to make the girls decide that they want to go and keep the place.
Yeah.
Does your movie end with that too, where they're both eating popcorn, sitting at the concession stand, talking to each other?
I don't remember that end. I think it may have. I don't remember that. That's gone. At that point, I had pretty much checked out, and I'm just like, give me credits. That's all I need right now. The credits will be more enjoyable.
Because these movies are like the one I watched was the Hallmark movie that they make fun of on TikTok. So they get these married couples on TikTok. So they pretend that they're in Hallmark movies. That's what mine was. Mine was the girl comes from the city. She's a single mom, and she meets the boy. It's not her high school crush or an old boyfriend or anything. She meets the guy in high school who was her opponent in debate club, and she hated him in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's also a single dad, and he's a good guy, and he's really devoted to the theater, and she's devoted to the theater, and they end up in love at the end of the thing.
So for mine, just to kind of give you an overview of mine was, yes, the girl goes from the small town to the city. She evidently is like some great planner, probably because of the fact she runs this theater. They decide they're having some sort of a contest with restaurants where I think it's the winner of the contest, the money goes towards charity of their choice. But what happens is they have all these setbacks, one of which is the cook leaving. And then when the ball gets rolling again, a snowstorm prevents it from the actual Christmas contest from happening. So they put together this thing where all of them are going to be together, and I think all the money ends up going to charity. But there's another underlying story that's going on, which is with the regular guy that goes to this restaurant every day. He's like the norm of the restaurant.
Yeah.
And he hasn't seen his daughter for a long time because something happened in the past. He wasn't a father. And it's got this really awkward, you know it's going to be awkward anyway, given the situation where the daughter comes back to meet with him, but it's just awkward because it doesn't feel like they're doing it the right way. It feels like they're wanting to make it even worse than as bad as it's going to be. And the lady who's the daughter, I'm thinking the problem is she can't act.
Yeah, mine couldn't either.
Okay. So
these girls, what's their last name here? The Williams sisters. They're not good actresses.
That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's a different girl in there. That's the if you look down the list of actors, there's I think his name's David L. King, plays the role of Frank, who's the father, and then Roberta Valderrama plays Valerie. I think those are the two that are the regular father of the restaurant, and the daughter who he abandoned, or something happened. I think the mother said to go or something. I don't remember. Don't care. There's no point in going back and finding out at this point. But she decides that, of course, with the main character lady trying to interject in this situation to come back and give another chance, and it just feels like it's going to be a wrong situation anyway because of all the damage that's done, but it feels like a wrong situation for the wrong reasons rather than that actual connection of them trying to work through their situation.
Wow, that's crazy. So now I have when I watch through this, I'll know what you're talking about, but a lot of I knew the rough strokes of what was going on in your thing. Mine was very black and white. It was very easy to say. It was they were trying to get this. It's all about saving the theater, and she falls in love in the process.
Yeah.
And she's torn because she feels like she needs to go back to the restaurant because she doesn't trust that she doesn't really not that she doesn't trust her sister, but it's her thing. She's very I know I trust her, but it's my thing, not her thing, kind of thing. She feels very responsible for it. So a lot of it is, should I go back? And then her son's like, I don't want to go back. I like it here. I already talked about this, but that was a whole big conflict she was having with her kid because he liked being with grandma and grandpa. He liked being in the hometown. He liked the small environment. He probably was cool because he's from the city. I don't know.
That's interesting because yours sounds like it's very cut and dry as to what it's about, whereas mine has just it feels like Spice World, where it's got so many convoluted plots going on at once. And you're like, you know what? Stick to this one, take everybody else Send them Penis Arrow Peninsula. We don't need them.
Yeah,
And yes, I did.
It sounds like there's a lot going on in yours.
I want to point out, yes, I did say Penis Arrow Peninsula.
Yeah, that's a Final Fantasy reference.
Yes. That's where they need to go because they don't need to be here.
Yeah. So your main actress, was she good?
My main actress. Oh, can I do that? On a scale of Sigourney Weaver to 10.
Can you do mine too, since you've seen both of them?
Yeah, sure. They'll get the same score.
Cool.
I'd rather pay attention to the clock and watch it tick by.
They're trying to be like. They're kind of pretty, but they're
kind of boring.
Yeah.
And I think it's the personality that they have as their characters. They're just boring.
It's not that it's not like when we were watching The Grudge and it feels like nobody wanted to be there. It's not that bad, but it's pretty much a lot like that. Like there's no even like the most. I can't even think of who was the best actor in the whole thing because they all kind of sucked.
Well, that's the thing. It's not a nobody wants to be there. It's a nobody knows why they're there, but they got to get the best they can.
They're trying. They're trying. Give them points for trying, folks.
It's like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I got to do this to the best of my ability. And I think that's what it is.
They told me to repeat this line and seem happy about it. I think I could do that.
It's like there's a commercial that's by Sprite. It's an older commercial where there's like 3 basketball players. And, they're in the face like, you got to drink the Sprite, do the Sprite, or whatever the Sprite saying was at that time. And then it's like, cut, cut, cut. And the person's like, oh, well, you've done it again. And the person's like, the other one's like, what's my motive? And then the main one goes, I played Hamlet.
I remember that one. They're because they're all like real actors pretending to be homeboys. Yeah.
That's what these actors and actresses feel like in this movie. They have to play this role, but they don't know why they're doing it.
Yeah, they don't know what their motivation is. They're just like, okay, the line in the script says to do this. Okay, I'll do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think it's just because they're part of a machine where they produce these movies like over and over and over and over again. They probably they're probably the same actors who are like, I've never watched another Hallmark movie, so I don't know. But maybe these Williams sisters are in a ton of Hallmark movies together, as far as I know. I don't know. They could be. Half these actors we could have, if we watched Hallmark on a regular basis, maybe we would have seen them 100 times already.
I don't want to watch Hallmark on a regular basis after this. I'm a one and done with Hallmark at this point. I'm checking out.
Yeah, Hallmark movies suck. That's pretty well established. Yeah. If you want to watch a good Hallmark movie, go on to TikTok and look up Hallmark movie and pick one of the many couples that do these Hallmark parodies, and it'll be a lot better, and it'll be the same story.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I went into this, my goal was to watch both the movies and not tell you I watched the other movie. But I know the exact moment when that changed. It was I had to take a bathroom break. That's when I was like, okay, I got to be close to the end of this. I paused the movie and it was at 51 minutes, and I'm like, nope.
I didn't have to use the bathroom, but I'm like, how far along into this movie am I? And I paused it, and it was 30 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, what the?
Yep. Exactly.
Well, Vern, are you ready to move on?
I am definitely ready.
Oh boy!
So now we get to another segment that we call "Should You Bother?" And this is where we're going to talk about old movies. And that kind of are maybe obscure, and see if they're actually worth watching nowadays.
This one here, I'll talk about it when we get into it, but first let me clear my throat and do my thing here. Ernest Saves Christmas is a 1988 family comedy. It's about the lighthearted holiday comedy follows the bumbling yet lovable Ernest P. Worrell. I thought it was World. It's Worrell, as he helps Santa Claus find his successor in time to save Christmas. With his trademark slapstick humor and heart, Ernest embarks on a chaotic adventure filled with mishaps, laughs, and festive cheer. It stars Jim Varney, Douglas Seal, Oliver Clark, and Noel Parker. This movie was great. I was so surprised. I went into this movie expecting it to be shit, and it is, but it's still good. It's good shit.
I was getting ready for you to bomb this movie.
Dude, I'm watching this, and I'm like, this is actually kind of entertaining. Like, for a kid, this is a great movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. This movie, when I was watching this again, I'm sitting there going, for me, this really isn't a movie for me, but this is a fantastic movie to put on when you have like the whole family in the room.
Yeah.
Because it's going to hit everybody. Now, I'm going to say there's one massive problem with this movie, and I hate to say
it. It's Jim Varney.
It's Jim Varney.
It's the worst.
I know. But actually, the girl, was it Harmony was her name or something?
Yeah,
she wasn't a very good actress. But everybody else was doing a great job. But the thing about Jim Varney is he's not bad. He does some great personalities and everything, but I look at him as if you tell Jim Carrey, like, hey, Jim Carrey, tone it down to about 5. That's where you get Jim Varney.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that. He's in the same vein as like a Jim Carrey. He's got the characters he did. I've seen them all before.
Mm-hmm.
You are watching basically the best of his whole act.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like, it wasn't overdone. I was expecting it to be where he was getting, I mean, he did get a little annoying at times, but like he'll like get a little annoying, but then it backs it right off.
Yeah.
And it doesn't keep hitting you with it, which is great, because that's what I was worried about. That it's just going to be him constantly pissing me off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it wasn't. I was very pleasantly surprised with this movie. This is like, I think this is like a movie where if you have like a list of Christmas movies, this can easily be added to that.
Yeah.
Of movies you would watch every year.
It's a good movie to, like, if you have a series of Christmas movies, put it on the afternoon when like all the kids are still awake and you need to have them sit down to something and relax for a bit, because kids don't have a very long attention span anyway. But at least you can get them to stop and watch it. Because it just fits everybody.
Yeah, I mean, like my only issues with story-wise was like, why are they arresting this guy? I guess for being a vagrant, but that's not. I mean, you tell them to move along. You don't arrest the man.
Yeah.
You
got to give it story somewhere.
Yeah, they had to do something, and then like the crummy lawyer agent guy who kept calling him Santos when his name, like, my name's Santa Claus. I'm like, first of all, dude, why don't you go by the name Seth Applegate, which is apparently your actual name at the end of the movie, and save everybody from thinking that you're insane.
Exactly.
Because
I guess
don't you know that most of the world will think you're nuts? So just put that into account when you're doing this.
I guess when you're Santa, like you live in the North Pole, you don't have very much interaction with regular people, so it's kind of like.
But what do you think by the time that you're in the police department and they're asking you your name and everybody's already said that you're full of shit saying you're Santa Claus a bunch of times already, you would say the light bulb would go off in your head and you say, you know what, my name's Seth Applegate. I live at 123 Main Street. Can I go home now?
Yeah. You get really frustrated and fed up and start screaming. That would be it. And then they put you in a mental ward.
Yeah, they never got that far. That was basically what Ernest saved him from. That was out of all the impersonations, when he was in as like the governor's nephew or whatever, or he was assistant and he was there with the governor's niece. Mm-hmm. That was together. That was the best I saw the two of them act in the whole thing. Yeah. Her as the spoiled the schoolgirl, and him, like, I've seen him do that character before, right? Like where he's like an uppity, like. I don't know. What would you describe it as? It's like a nerdy, uppity guy.
How would I describe that? Uptight, maybe.
Yeah, he's a lot like they had a spokesman that was around in the '80s who was a lot like that too. He did a lot of work for the WWE. I forget his name too, but yeah, that was like out of all the impersonations, that and when maybe the snake guy was kind of
Yeah,
funny
the snake
too.
guy was dead on. That was the one I was going to mention.
Yeah, the snake guy was really that was really cool. That and like this is like I said, it's a great kids film because like the 12-year-old in me and watching this and thinking like this is funny.
Yeah.
This is good, you know.
It's not like a laugh out loud ha 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 all over the floor one, but it's enough to make you chuckle inside.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, they keep the annoying to they annoy you to the point where you're getting annoyed and then they stop annoying you.
Yeah,
And that's actually kind of cool because that means they're teasing you.
mm-hmm.
Which, so I don't know if it was he had good writers or what. I know the Santa Claus, Douglas Steele played Santa Claus. He did an excellent job.
Mm-hmm.
I think Oliver Clark would probably play the guy who was going to be the new Santa. I don't have what they were playing. I probably could pull that up if I wanted to. But yeah, this is definitely a Christmas classic. You can watch it for free on YouTube, or you could pay and watch it on YouTube. They have both options available for you. And if you pay to watch it, you get it in high definition. If you don't pay to watch it, you get what I watched, which is pretty much the DVD copy, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Which looked pretty good. There's also somebody uploaded the VHS rip of it too, so you can watch it in shitty version or really shitty version.
If you want to go back to that old style and really relive your past.
Well, it's like when we watched you got me that copy of Spice World, and I'm like, I love the fact that this is off of a videotape, and I decided like, yeah, that's gonna be perfect for when I put the video together. I'm just gonna keep the videotape quality. Yeah. And then when you can tell when I'm jumping between movies too, it's very evident.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a thumbs up. I didn't expect to give a thumbs up to Ernest Saves Christmas. I actually was pissed that you suggested that, but no, that was good.
See, and the thing is, I hadn't seen it since I was in high school, so it was like I'm sure I'm going to annoy Ben with this one, but it seems like a good time to do it.
Well, yeah, it's Christmas time, so we got our 3 Christmas movies in. I'm gonna have to watch Christmas in the City now. Not if anything to catch up with all the story that's in this 90-minute masterpiece.
Good luck with that one. I don't envy you at all.
I don't know if I can get these done before Christmas. I'm gonna try. I don't have anything else on my docket really. I have to do one video, technically maybe 2 videos for work. But I literally, before you called, I was literally wrapping up all my work stuff.
Yeah, and actually, I want to mention that to everybody, all our Irelanders out there. You know who you are. You can now, if you weren't aware, you can now go to YouTube, and yes, you can listen to our videos there. But Ben's been putting up little shorts here and there of the videos. So if you want to just get a little snippet of how we feel about like a movie, or if you want to just grab a quick mix and mic ticks that's been recorded, you can find those all just on YouTube.
Yeah, and usually I end up throwing them up in batches because like once I'm in that groove, like I like to stay in that groove. I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing clips right now, and like I was in a groove the other day. I was putting on-screen graphics together, and I'm like, let me just keep doing it because I'm already doing it now. You know, what else more can I do with this? You know.
And I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys, but I do want to let you all know out there, come the new year, there may be a little bit of a change happening once a month on the show.
Yeah, we might be bringing the band back together.
Yep, and I'm still.
We got using the Ouija board and contacted one of them.
Yeah, we'll find out what happens if it happens.
I've had some creepy stories with Ouija boards. Like my cousin's like I think he was like almost possessed by a Ouija board.
Wow. Okay, that sounds like it's going to be an interesting topic that we should explore on another episode.
Yeah, like I know some families like they wouldn't even let them in the house. Like I couldn't even have a Ouija board in my house. I had to use it at my grandparents' house. And then they get these videos of these people like turning the lights off on their kids when they're playing with it.
That's messed up.
Oh, that's great.
So let's talk. Let's put that on the back burner. Something to talk about is weird, demonic, haunting things that you've gone through.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like weird board games, because technically it's considered to be a board game. It's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
There's no game. You can't win at Ouija board.
Unless you're like a perfect speller, and then the other person sucks. And it's like either this ghost really does not know how to spell, or you're moving it, man.
No, they're spelling everything wrong. It's got to be my aunt. She was always horrible spelling.
It's like let's contact the spirit of George Washington. So George, what's going on? Straight outta Compton, yo. And you're like sitting there, yeah, that's probably not George Washington saying that one.
Yeah, that's easy E. All right, folks. So Merry Christmas to all of you. And I think we'll be back before the Happy New Year.
Yeah, so next week we got another topic. We want to point out with this topic, especially around this time of year, do not covet. But next week we're going to be talking about things that, how do we say this one? Things that we wanted as a kid but didn't get.
Young envy.
Yes.
Times of young envy. On physical items, because we started talking about
physical items.
I wish I had my buddy's girlfriend. You don't want to do that.
Well, that could be a physical item, just depending on like their relationship outlook.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
know. I'm sure you can find all that information in a lot of pornos out there.
Yeah, some of them are called Sister Swap.
There you go, Sister Swap, not the Sister Swap with the Wizard of Oz.
Dude, on my Blu-ray Extras channel, that thing's blowing up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they love it because it's a musical.
I think we have one of our movie things is starting to blow up on YouTube.
Some of them do. Like literally, like if we were making money, the money maker would be the Saved by the Bell videos. Those ones do amazing. And even when I put them on Instagram, just because it's Saved by the Bell, there's an audience for Saved by the Bell, apparently. So maybe we could dive back into it, but what else is there for us to say, really? Unless we start doing the new version of it, which I have no interest in.
Yeah, I think
I watched the first season of the new one, and like they're trying to recreate the magic. I'm like more interested in the former cast members of the original show than I am, because they're sprinkled in there. I'm more interested in what they're up to than what than what is going on with the kids.
Yeah,
and that's the problem right there, because the show is about the kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
Saved by the Bell, I think we have to move on from. We're past that.
Cobra Kai. Let's talk about that for a second. Have you watched Cobra Kai?
I've seen a few of the seasons of it. I don't know if you saw it yet, but they have now come out with a new trailer for a new Karate Kid movie.
Yeah, I did see that. But on Cobra Kai for a second, like I started watching season 6, which is supposed to be the final season, and they finally jumped the shark. So Daniel-san is looking through Mr. Miyagi's house, and he finds like a chest, and he opens the chest up, and he finds out that Mr. Miyagi had a secret life. And I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Whatever you're going to do now, I'm done. I'm totally done. The thing is, they're doing this to lead into the movie you're talking about, I think. I think his secret life is what led to what happens in the movie that's coming out. So I think that's why they're doing it, but I don't care.
Yeah, and it's really weird. They're trying to bridge the whole Karate Kid movies together using this movie.
You know who owns the Karate Kid franchise, right?
Isn't it Will Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Out of everybody, you would never think it's Will Smith who owns it, but Will Smith, yeah, he and that's why he bought it so he could put his kid in it.
Exactly.
And his kid just, I don't even think he wants to act anymore. It's like, yeah, because he did a couple of movie roles and sucked. And he let all the reviews get to him instead of just, if you want to be an actor, go learn the craft. Do what your dad did. His dad didn't really start at the bottom with acting, but he started at the bottom with rapping.
Yeah.
He did start at the bottom somewhere. It wasn't there, but start at the bottom and work your way up. He wanted to be a K-pop star, so he was going to buy himself into that. And I'm like, the K-pop audience is going to eat you alive, kid. Mm-hmm. They love their people. They're like wrestling fans. They're as wrestling fans and K-pop fans are just as rabid as each other. They're the same people.
Look what happened. Was it Kachi? I think the band was.
What happened with them?
Kachi. It was the band from like, I think they're from Europe that wanted to be K-pop, and they just got crapped all over.
Oh yeah. If you're not authentic, like at least if you're not Asian, they'll let it go if you're Japanese or something or Chinese. They let that go, but not fully, because like there was that one group, not Girls' Generation, the one that's next to them, the same company though. No,
Ice?
No. There was a boy group that came out at the same time as Girls' Generation or around the same time. I think EXO.
Probably EXO. Yeah, I think they're from China, weren't they?
No, EXO was Japan or was Korean, but they had some members from different parts of Asia, and then they wanted to add new members, and there literally was a protest outside of the record company, protesting adding these 2 new members, so they actually had to make a subgroup. And it's ridiculous. Like these fans are the most hardcore fans. Like you think sports fans are nuts. These people are crazy.
And they are just like in the lives of the artist. The artist, like they like know when the artist blows their nose. And if the artist steps out of line in some way, it's just raining down on them, basically.
Like how me and you met each other was through K-pop and like a K-pop group that we were both part of on Facebook. And just dealing with the people in there. And then they have like all these double standards for everything. Like they'll say like, oh, I want to be in a room with the boy band and blow every single member. And it's like, well, I want to sleep with every member of this girl group. Oh, you're such a pig. Yeah. Of course a guy would say that. I've literally seen that argument. You know, I'm like, well, the person before me just said they want to blow every member of BTS.
Yep.
It's like it's a very it's very liberal in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's a thing that I'm glad I'm not into anymore. But it's very emotionally draining, and you think you're part of something and you're not, because nobody's really part of it.
Yeah, exactly. All the people that are like, oh, this is my waifu, or this one, stop posting pictures of this person and back off them. She's mine. And I'm like sitting there going, dude, are you really for real like this?
None of these people know who you are.
Exactly.
They don't know that you exist, and it's nothing against them. It's just that's how it is. There's we run into it in your normal life. How many times do you run into people that you see all the time and you don't remember what their name is?
Yeah.
I run into that on a weekly basis. I feel horrible about it because I should know this person's name by now.
Yeah.
And I don't. And I got told a long time ago that that's a sign of disrespect. And I'm like, I don't think it is. How many people am I supposed to remember?
Well, it's a sign of disrespect in like certain cultures. I think in our culture, it's just like normal at this point. I hate to say it that way, but it kind of is.
No, it is. It's the normal thing. It's like I could have literally there are people who I can't even ask them what their name is anymore because it's been too long.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been like years, and I don't remember what the.
And then you're looking for like that one clue, like they drop their wallet or something, and their ID comes out, and you're like, oh, there we go, it's Jose, and you're like, I got it now.
And this is where you got to learn the tricks, and there are tricks in this. Is you just introduce them to other people and let them introduce themselves.
Exactly. You have to do it in like a big group, so you get like 5 or 6 people, and you're like, you know what? Just go ahead and introduce yourself, you guys.
Yeah, it's just make sure you don't have to learn everybody's name because that can make that confusing too.
Exactly.
Okay, it's like, okay, so you're John, you're Bob, and you're Jim? Oh, you're Jim. You're Jim.
It's even worse when it's like somebody online because like then you know like their screen name or gamer tag name or something, and you're like, yeah, hey James, I want you, my friend over here, the Fire Blaster.
The Fire Blaster. Oh yeah, the Fire Blaster. He must be amazing. Dude, I cannot watch anything with who's the guy that they were mimicking? Billy Mitchell. I can't watch anything with Billy Mitchell anymore without thinking about Fire Blaster.
Yeah, Fire Blaster.
Every time now, I'm like, oh my god. I just think of Peter Dinklage as the Fire Blaster.
Anything else we need to add?
No. So you were surprised. I was holding my thoughts on Ernest because I wanted to surprise you with him. Because, like I said, it surprised me. I didn't expect to like it.
Yeah, know what I mean?
I have no interest in watching any other Ernest movie.
I don't either.
Like Ernest goes to prison. I have no interest in that. Ernest kills the army. No idea. No interest in that. Ernest blows himself. I have no interest. Hey, Vern, you want to see a trick?
with that, everybody, we're off.
Can we talk about Vern for a second? I want to fall back onto this for one more second. I just thought about this. He goes to Vern's house, claiming that Vern is his best friend ever. And Vern is obviously the cameraman who's in every other Ernest thing that's ever come out.
Yeah.
And he just wrecks the guy's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why aren't we seeing Vern beating the shit out of this guy?
That's a good question. I don't know. Why is he not getting thrown out? But, I guess that would ruin the whole comedy routine to the point where you see that's the thing it's doing. It's doing exactly what you're talking about. It's annoying you to just that edge.
Yeah, it's at the edge of a total annoyance. You're almost there, and then it backs right off.
Yep.
And they seem to do that really well. They must have like tested it or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe the writer just knew how much Jim Varney we can take before we're ready to kill ourselves.
Exactly. So with that, I think we're gonna call it.
Rest in peace, Jim Varney. Yes. You got a little respect out of me. Thank you.